You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything.
Welcome. I have a quote for you, from the other you to you, the other self to you. Gautama Buddha. He lived from 563 to 483 BC. He was the founder of Buddhism. At least that's what they believe. He says, you have no cause for anything but gratitude and joy. You have no cause for anything but gratitude and joy. He didn't say in one area of your life and not another. He said, and the divinists correct me, they said, they that are them call themselves Gautama Buddha. They said, you have no cause for anything but gratitude and joy. The divine wants me to tell you, you were born with it. You don't have to go looking for it or searching for it. It's already within you. You've been told that it's an unknown. And then they took that title that is gratitude and joy and gave it a linear title so that you can go searching for it outside of you. We are here today to search the unknown of us and make it known to us. And here's the thrilling part. It's not unknown to our higher selves, that which we call our soul or our spirit, or that's what you call the divine itself. It's already known. It just needs to be recalled. So as we're diving in, body and mind, our higher being is adding its flavor, its taste to it of recalling, and we're getting the full experience of what it means to be multidimensional. Ooh, right? Here's the young lady that did the Secret, right? Rhonda Byrne. She put out a book called The Power. And the end of the book is more powerful than even her beginning. She says, the purpose of your life is joy. And so what you think is the greatest joy in life? She says, giving. If you're a person that told me 6 years ago that the greatest joy in life is giving, I would have said, that's fine for you, but not for me. I'm struggling right now to survive, and I can barely make ends meet. So I have nothing to give. Her next paragraph, she says, the greatest joy in life is giving, because unless you, the law of the universe is always listening, and what you pour into it, it pours right back to you in a plethora of vibrational moments. It gives to you as much as you give to the universe, but first you've got to know how to embody yourself. First, you've got to know how to ascend beyond your limitations in order to give more. She literally said that. She said that was fine for somebody to tell me, but literally I couldn't see anything I had to give. because I was so far in debt. In the beginning of her book, she said, I was in debt, I was sick, I was walking the beach, and I didn't know what to do. And her daughter gave her a book about the law of attraction. And instead of just thinking about herself, guys, she says, why doesn't everybody know this? Not just me. Why don't we all know about this? Why don't we all know about this power? And here we are today. The other self called Marcus and the other self called Sandee saying, allow yourself to go beyond your limitations and tap into the awesomeness of who you are. The awesomeness according to you, not to who Sandee thinks you should be or Marcus thinks you should be. You don't have to step into anything being perfect, because perfect is truly overrated. You just have to bring who you are and have the intention to want to go beyond your limitation and find you. Guess what? Within you. So let us get started. Are you ready? Because I'm ready.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Let's go. Episode 24. Sending Beyond Limitations. We are here now. Thank you to all of you that have continued along this journey. Thank you to all of you that support, share your love, share your expressions in each episode. You are greatly appreciated as you make the space as much as we do. And, it's a really beautiful journey, and I'm full of gratitude, truly full of gratitude for the amount of information and just paradigm shifting that has been able to take place in this journey. It's really profound, and I look forward to what we have today. That's all I got for us for now, and wholeness to everybody. Have a blessed, beautiful session with us.
Ooh. I attune myself to the creative impulses that indwell in me and seek to express in, through, and as me, as I yield my vessel to wisdom and understanding given of the divine mother, father, sister, brother, other self, called the one true creator. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. One size truly does not fit all, but you will find yours. You will. That's part of the free will experience. If you will it, the divine will say, let it be so. So let's start with the questioner. The questioner says, out of the Seth material, everybody knows or may know of Seth. He was a channeler, just as Bashar, just as Abraham. All right. Out of the Seth materials, we have a statement in which Seth says that each entity here on earth is one part or an aspect of higher self or oversoul, which has many aspects or parts in many dimensions, all of which learn. This is a run-on sentence, so let's keep going. Sometimes when they channel, they do run-on sentences. All right. Which learn lessons which allow the higher self to progress in a balanced manner. So basically, he's saying that we have our higher selves or that, people have called our higher self over soul or the spirit. Whatever your label is, take that what resonates with you and apply it in here. That there are many aspects of us, and we're interdimensionally moving through all dimensions, all at the same time, all at once and not at all. We're multidimensional. And we've come here to this earth school to not only just play, but we have these lessons that we've come to learn. We have physicality of energy that we seek to feel. We came to be creators in form because we were created in formless. We seek to do that. We came with purpose on purpose. And our higher being has all the information for us. Am I to understand, this is the questioner, am I to understand from this that there are many experiences similar to the one which we experience in the third density, which are governed by a single higher self? So what do you think, guys? Is that just another way of saying, okay, all that you have told me in book 1 about the one true source, the one true creator, are you telling me that it's third density and other planes are governed by one single higher self? Have you found yourself always asking that question differently to see if someone will give you a different answer? Kind of let's play with it a little, kind of like you're in the being interrogated and they shoot the question off 3 different times and you kind of look at them like, no, that's just another way of you asking that question, right? I mean, when I heard that, that's where I went. But let's see what Ross says, right? Here we go. Ross says, I am Ra. The correctness of this statement is very variable. The more imbalanced an entity becomes, the less the possibility or probability vortices, VORTICES, may need to be explored in parallel experiences. There's just not one plane. But it doesn't mean that you're doing it in all experiences. There are many versions of you in different parallels, and you may be taken there, guided by your soul, to have you overlook and discern to make decisions based in your reality. As will they be overlooking your reality, right? You want to play in all realms, but come on, do you know really where you're playing in? And do you know really if you have the free will right in other dimensions to change things? You think you do? You think you do? Hold on. Back to you, Marcus. I have to answer a quick text, and I've got to step away to do it. Forgive me, people, but sometimes life has its moments. Marcus, can you take it for me? Thank you.
Why, hello, everybody. Well, as we take this moment to kind of take a pause on the reading and the study, it just so happens that the guides have been calling with this oracle deck right before that happened. So a little bit of divine intervention took place, of course, which is so funny because I was sitting here in the chair. Next thing I know, I felt a channel come through. And then I had the oracle cards on my mind right before that. And then boom, all of a sudden that happens. So, just being here and being present, I shall follow that call. And we're going to be using the light language oracle for anybody out there that is curious. And the light language oracle is a channeled deck, and her name is Chloe Metcalf. She's a channeler, and she channels the deck, and she channels all the guides that you see on these cards, and then she gives the messages and medicine for each of these guides through her channel sessions. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull for us one card out of the light language oracle. Ooh, okay. So we have number 33, of course, and it is the Fox energy. Spirit guide Fox. Oh man, reminds me of myself so much. 33 and Fox. So I'm gonna read what Fox means out of this deck here. And it represents cunning, quick pace energy, unique lessons. It is time to think outside the box. The fox has always brought lessons to me in unexpected ways. So this trickster may make you think one thing is coming, but don't be surprised if it is nothing like what you expected, or even the polar opposite. When the fox appears, know the energy will be very fast-paced. You may not be able to keep up. You can always call on this totem if you are finding yourself in life too slow, or perhaps a hare would be more to your liking. The fox is a very keen hunter with incredible aim. His ability to focus is just what you need at this time. Get grounded and see with clarity. Otherwise, the trickster fox will knock you off your feet. Find your focus. Oof. And that is our message and medicine for this moment, is Spirit Guide Fox from the Light Language Oracle. So I'll let you guys process with that. Take in any messages, any reflections or triggers that may be occurring in this moment. And I'm going to invite you to navigate and focus to the breath. And take a few breaths, maybe about 3. Consciously breathing through the nose. Drawing that breath down the body to the earth, to ground. And releasing through the mouth. And as you do your next 2 breaths, you may release and let go on your exhale anything that's causing confusion in your mind, any density or attachments, any wounds or anything else that may be keeping you from being your wholeness and balance. All right. And as you take those 2 breaths, you may return back, or I should say you can return forward into this present space of your physical body. And thank you guys. We got Sandra back. Welcome back, Sandy. You're on mute.
There we go. Thank you so much for being so patient.
Absolutely.
All right. So Ross says, the correctness of this statement is veritable. That just means that he's got many a plethora of ways that he can explain it. Oh, look at the hearts. Thank you, tea cake. Love it.
Light some candles, light some hearts.
Mm-hmm. Questioner says, I do understand from this, then that the higher self or oversoul may break down into numerous units of its experience and is required to what we would call simultaneously experiencing different types of catalysts and then oversee the experiences. You got that? The divine is seeking itself. That's what free will is. The divine is seeking itself in many experiences and expressions all at once. It's hard for our conscious linear mind to see that as a possibility. That the one true essence of the creator is being Marcus as it is being me here right now. That they are talking to themselves at the same time. Does that blow you away? It blew me away when I first woke up to that possibility. It blew me away. I didn't say I didn't believe it. I didn't say I had a doubt. I just said it blew me away that which is the divine moving in through and as me is the divine moving in through and as Marcus, and we're talking to each other as expressions of the divine. Mm-hmm. And we're talking to you as expressions of the divine. And get this, we can talk to other expressions of the divine in our dream state, when we astral travel, when we can go on trips, we can go places without having a plane. Holy shit. And our body knows that this is happening, and it stays perfectly in sync for the soul to land back in it. It knows the landing pattern. It knows how to put the lights up and have the guy do the flag with the lights, taxi you on in. You're a multidimensional being. So here's the question that the divine wants to say. When you call back your energy from all realms and all dimensions, what do you call them back? Because matter of fact, you shouldn't have left any energy there, because you have your energy in your now. You should be going to play and learn, but you shouldn't have left anything. If you've been playing and tampering with things that you do not know how what the effect will be, are you sure? The divine says, are you sure you want to call that back to you? Do you not just want to leave it where it's at so that it can be, so that the divine can handle it and cleanse it and transform it and transmute it? Because guess what? We assume that the divine needs us in everything. The divine created everything. It needs you just to learn from your experience and come back. Don't call something back if you don't want what's traveling with it. Matter of fact, ask to see what you do not see or cannot see with your naked eye before it comes back to you, because you might not want it to come back. If you're not going to cleanse it, if you're not going to transform it, if you're not going to alchemize it, if you're not going to stand in your ascending beyond into what you don't, into what into what you know that you don't know that you should know. Ooh, wow. Into what you know that you don't know, and that which you should know. Don't call anything back to you that does not belong to you anymore. You've got more than enough power in you and more than enough energy in you. You are the wellspring of energy. If someone took some energy from you, if you believe someone took some energy from you, it's not because they took it from you. You gave it to them. Some way, somehow, you gave it to them. They didn't take anything from you. And if you gave it to them, let them keep it. Go back to the source that's within you, the wellspring that's in you. You're multi-dimensional. You don't need that. But take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You're going to still do what you're going to do. And the divine is going to say yes to anything that you do. Right? So Ross says, so they go on to say, I do understand from this then that the higher self or the oversoul may break down into numerous units of each or of the experience of required, that is required. It's going to break down and become the catalyst that we implore energy to become for us. The divine is going to say, yes, go ahead. Your wish is my command. But as the genie, you've got more than three wishes, three intentions. You've got an infinite possibility of choices. Ra says, I am Ra. This is a statement we cannot be correct or incorrect due to the confusion of what you call time. Ra says, I can't tell you if you're correct about it or incorrect about it because you have a different version of time than we do. I can't confirm or deny because you're seeing everything linearly. You're seeing everything in a time base. Here's the rough draft. I am born. I live. I get an education. I work. I retire. And I die. And in between there, you kind of live a little something. Ra, the time is neither here nor there. It's energy. It's energy. It's everywhere. Think about this. If we weren't here and we didn't look at our clocks, if we weren't here as people, do you think dinosaurs would have been able to tell what time it was? They would just have existed. The birds would just exist. The ocean animals would just exist. And for a time, humanity, when we were first on the earth, we just existed. We did. We existed. We coexisted with the moon. We coexisted with the sun. We coexisted with the waves of the ocean. We coexisted with the earth. We coexisted with every animal. Even though we were eating animals, we coexisted with them to know when we should stop hunting them so that they could replenish their numbers. We knew how to grow crops. And we knew when to stop growing crops to allow for Earth consciousness to replenish her body. We knew this. We just did it. It just happened. Right? We, as humanity, have took time to a whole different level. So Ra says, I cannot tell you yes, and I cannot tell you no, because you guys are the ones that have, a time grievance. We do. Every entity that has come to give us knowledge and give us wisdom, we want them to break it down into our linear knowledge. We want them to write the book for dummies. Isn't that we do it the book for the accounting for dummies, math for dummies, channeling for dummies. Break it down for us. Don't spend a lot of time trying to get us to figure out, we don't need to step up to the plate. And the divine wants me to let you know that we do need to step up to the plate. We were called to do this, and our main thing was to shift and evolve so that we could move into a different planetary vibration, so that we could all become one, just like Ra. One consciousness. Is all about the wholeness, oneness, the one true divine us, wholeness. So he says, or they say, true true simulation or simulation entity. Wow, I never knew that was a word. I'm gonna spell that out and ask Marcus to look it up in the dictionary. Maybe it's a word that I've never heard. Okay, SIMULTANEITY. Okay, true simultaneity is available, and maybe it's just because I'm trying to break it down into syllables. I've just never heard that word that way. Is available only when all things are seen to be occurring all at once. Have you felt a shifting and all things are happening all at once, and you can't really explain it to someone else, but you just know that you're looking at different different versions of life all at once, and you can't explain it? I know I have. I know when I'm in two different divine, the world is moving simultaneously at the same time, because I see shadows. I see shadows of people. It looks like somebody's walking past me. I look really quickly trying to see it, and I see a shadow. Or it looks like something's crawled, and I look and did something crawl through the doggy door? That kind of thing. But, you can feel it, right? Simultaneously, the simulation, right? But we can't make sense of it when all Ra is saying is, it just is. Right? So Ra is saying, I can't tell you that it isn't something or that it is something, because it's based on what it is for you versus what it is for someone else, or what it is not for someone else and what it is for someone else, all in the same moment. Right? So Ra goes on to say, this overshadows the concept of which you speak. The concept of various parts of the beginning, the being living experiences of varying natures simultaneously is not precisely accurate. Due to your understanding that this would indicate that there is an occurring with true simultaneity, right? So its similarity is it's things happening all at the same time, but they're not all the same things, I think. But he also says, or they also say, this is not the case. The case is from, here we go, from universe to universe and from parallel existence can be programmed by the higher self. So I can program, I can say, I don't want to see this version of 3D. And I can program a different, it's just like, okay, I'm done with this program of the tetherball cord, and I want to program something else that's, I can just walk 2 steps and be in another room. I can do that. I can change the projector. What do you think? Do you think, did you get that from what I just read? Every person is going to have a different version of what that means, right? So again, Ross says the case is from universe to universe and from parallel existence can then be programmed by the higher self, given the information available from the body-mind-spirit complex totality regarding the probability / possibility vortexes at any crux, CRUX. Back to you, Marcus. We're going to leave it there before the questioner asks another question. Welcome, Divine World of Wisdom. Marcus, are you ready, or do you want me to keep reading? All right. He might have caught a call. Let me continue reading. The questioner in this case says, my higher self would have a large advantage in knowing what was needed, since it would know, as far as I'm concerned, what was going to happen. Is this correct? So he's saying, basically, I would already know what's going on because my higher self would have already brought all that knowledge with me, right? So I know how to, kind of play the stock market and what's going to happen, right? Using that as a rough example. Ross says that is incorrect. Ross says, I am raw, and that is incorrect. In this in that this would be an aberration. Hold on. This would be an aberration of free will. If we gave you all of what's going to happen, what would you need free will for? That would just negate it. You have it within you, but you got to go search it. You got to go find out if it's for your highest and greatest good of your story. And remember this, you don't have to accept anything being for your highest, greatest good. It just means, how do you move your story along? If we did that for you, pretty much what Ra is saying, why would we need to give you free will if we were just going to negate it? If every time we took it and we misused it or did allowed the distortion, if we changed the distortion, what would free will be about? If we didn't let you make choice through your distortion, what would you learn? You didn't come knowing everything. You came knowing who you were and what you wanted to learn as you start to recall, but you didn't know the outcome. You came knowing that you are the divine seeking itself through your free will, and that you get to choose different patterns of life. You get to, me, Marcus, we get to not manipulate energy. We get to give it a command so it can create for us. And then when we create it, we get to decide through our feelings and emotions if we like what we created, if we want more of it or if we want less of it. If the divine did it all, that would negate the fact that that would obscure the fact that it's seeking itself through us. But that certainly can be for you. If that's the story that you want to tell, the divine will say, okay, that's me. It's okay. That's me. That's how you see me. Then that's how I see me. It's okay. No judgment. No hell and brimstone. But if you want to believe that there's going to be a hell and brimstone, all the while that you're living in your physical form, let that be so. It's okay. Right? So he goes on to say, the higher self aspect is aware of the lessons learned through the sixth density. The progress rate is fairly well understood. The choices which must be made to achieve the higher self as it is are the province of the mind, body, spirit complex. The mind, body, spirit complex has to seek itself because it is the divine. That's all it's saying is we have to seek ourselves. How we seek ourselves, that's totally up to us. It's totally an expression that we get to express, and how we get to have feelings about that which we're expressing, and even down into the emotions. If we don't deal with the feelings, then our bodies take over, and it takes up emotion about what our feelings are, or that we're negating, or that we're having, or that we're not allowing ourselves to have, and that is the experience. That's all Ra is saying. But if you say easy, the easiest statement I can remember when I was growing up in the church is, oh, if I don't have it by now, God must not want me to have it. Right? Oh, God has just jumped in my way and keeping me from having it. Oh, it must not be God's will. And I sat with that and I went, well, why do we have free will? Why did God give us free will if God's going to do it all? And I think I was a little I think I was in my junior high school stage. And I just was talking to, I can't even remember who I was talking to. And I said, why did fucking God give us this if we weren't going to do it? That was a waste of energy. That's really a waste of time, giving us free will when he and back then, somebody was still teaching that God was a he. If he wasn't going to allow us, us human beings, to have free will. Here, Ra is saying that it's about the lessons learned. And then he says it's through sixth density. So there must be a process by which we shift our conscious thought patterns to how we see third density through sixth density. He said sixth density. Now, Ra could be talking about himself because he's a sixth density density vessel. Could be. I don't think so. I think we should have already shifted into this density, this consciousness, not something where we die and we leave our body and we have to, keep incarnating until we get to sixth density in our body now. Acclimating, assimilating, acclimating, tapping into and anchoring. Growth and expansion. Ross says, thus the higher self is like the map in which the destination is known. The roads are very well known, these roads being designed by the intelligent oh, I love this. Divine's telling me to slow down. Designed by the intelligent infinity working through intelligent energy. Want to hear that again? Thus, the higher self is like the map. You got a higher being that is a roadmap in you, that is the GPS, a living being that is your GPS, making your destination known, but it's still unknown because it's giving you any infinite possibility of your destination. It knows your roads really well, but it because the roads were designed by the infinity of energy that says, let me create for you. Holy shit. Can I get an amen? Can I get a whoop whoop? Right? Then Ross says, however, take the comma, the higher self aspect can program only for the lessons and certain predisposed limitations if it wishes. Now, guess what? Our higher beings, before they entered onto the playground, they sat down just like little kids do in the backyard and said, I want to play cowboys and Indians. I'll be the Indian. I'll be the cowboy. I'll be the chuck wagon chef. I'll be I'll play the horse. What, right? Doesn't mean that it has to stay that way. It just means that it starts out that way. However, the higher self's aspect can program only for the lessons and certain predisposing limitations if it wishes, if it so chooses. The remainder is completely the free will choice of each entity. There is the perfect balance between the known and the unknown. So your higher being starts the game, but you get the free will of changing the storyline. It's a perfect flow. Or maybe not. What do you think? Back to you, Marcus.
That's very powerful. Like, wow, just to take a moment and think about that.
Yeah.
To really think about, I don't know, this, looking at your hands and then looking at your body and then just looking around at your environment. And just taking a moment to really just like go into stillness and process that you're really in this. You're really in this experience. You're in this multi-dimensional divine essence that has been so incredibly coordinated and designed to be so infinite that we're living in a world where you can find about any contrast to experience. And there's no right or wrong to that contrast. From the lowest vibrations, murder, deception, stealing, all these things. But then you have the other contrast of unconditional love, giving hugs, kisses, cuddles, enjoying time with pets. Like, it's all here, and it's all parallel, and it's all experienceable. From video games to having no technology out in the forest, going and being in the water, to staring out at the vast ocean that seems endless. So I say all this because I just invite us to find ways to be as present as we can in this beautiful life that we're in. And even if it is just giving yourself these wonderful reminders of, how delicate and how, priceless life really is to be in. And try not to take things for granted, as it can become very conditioned in our consciousness of this life we're in. And sometimes, those moments come where we look back and we're like, man, only if I allow myself to live a little bit, or if I allow myself to be open. And then when we have those moments, that moment is then a reminder that in this present moment, you can do that now. So if you find yourself dwelling in the past, or you find yourself feeling like you're maybe not living up to whatever par it is that you expect of yourself right now, just know that you can start in this present moment. And you can make a choice to alter your vibration, to alter your timeline of experience. And then everything unfolds from that choice in that moment, once again. I was thinking yesterday of how, awesome it is to be a co-creator in the universe of all there is in creation. Like, how awesome is that? How incredible are we to all be a part of this, and to have this individualized awareness of our illusionary experience? Just think about that, a co-creator in the universe of all that is in creation. And you are a part of that, you're an active living part of that co-creating that is happening and continuing to be experienced and expanded, each and every one of us. So beautiful.
Yummy.
Back to you, Sandy.
So yummy that you are the main ingredient in your dish called life. Yum.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The questioner says, is the higher self of every entity of a sixth density nature? Okay. So remember, this is it's kind of scientific kind of stuff. So when they speak, they're speaking kind of like they're trying to speak like Ra speaks when they ask the questions, because they're trying to deliver it in because he's a sixth density entity, right? So they're trying to get it that way. So I'm going to slow my roll. I'm going to slow it down. It says, the questioner says, is the higher self of every entity of a sixth density nature? So is every entity, every higher self that is it of sixth density? Because that's what Ra is, right? Ra says, I am Ra. Ra says, this is correct. This is an honor / duty of self to self as one approaches seventh density. Now understand that the questioner was asking a question about them. Ra. Them is Ra. Ra's planet and everyone on it merged as wholeness again. And they became a sixth density. They are wholeness, but they aren't like they're a complex. They're not like us being separate but whole. They merged. They grew, they expanded. And from sixth density, their expansion goes back to merge with the divine at seventh density. Seventh density being what we might call our crown chakra, and merging with the divine, merging back, becoming they are wholeness, but they get to merge back with the wholeness when they were ready. And guess what? They have been sixth density complexes for a very long time, and they have been holding on to help us through whatever we had to, because they could have merged back with the divine. They could have said, hey, fuck them. Earth, they got to figure out their own thing. We did ours. Let's go. But that's not what Ra did. That's not what they did. They have the love, the wholeness, the one love, the law of one, the law of love, which is the divine seeking itself in the wholeness of itself through the expression of us individually. And Ra said, we honor that. We're going, Earth consciousness has called us, we're staying. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You don't have to believe that. There are going to be many that have another belief that doesn't resonate just like Ra resonates. And Ra says, let it be so. Go do you. Because you were given free will. Okay? Ra says, that is correct. This is an honor, duty to self, of self to self, as one approaches seventh density. As one approaches to merge back with the divine, this is an honor of self to do. This is what self came to do. This is what self as the divine came to do, to merge back with itself and bring the story back. Then the questioner says, let me be sure that I'm understanding this then. We have spoken of a certain particular individuals. For instance, we were speaking of George Patton in a previous communication, then his higher self at the time of his incarnation as George Patton, about 40 years ago, was of sixth density. Is this correct? Ra says, I am Ra. This is correct. We make note at this time that each entity has several beings upon which to call for inner support. Any of these may be taken by a entity to be the mind, body, spirit complex totality. However, this is not the case. The mind, body, spirit complex totally is a nebulous collection of all that may occur held in understanding. The higher self, a projection or a manifestation of mind body complex totality, which then may communicate with the mind body spirit during the disincarnate part of a cycle of rebirth or during the incarnation, may communicate if the proper pathways or channels through the root of the mind are open. So I'm reading a book called The Journey of the Souls, or Journey of Souls. It talks about the path that a soul takes when it exits one body or one incarnation, when it goes back to the super consciousness, which they found out is possibly also called what people call heaven, or what I call the realm of absolute. At the journey that the soul takes before it takes on another incarnation. This is one possibility. This is another. And before, when we were talking about it, we were talking about in our last one, we were talking about sometimes we're spinning. Okay, it was spinning for a moment. We're back. So in last week's, it was about a soul that didn't feel it could do what it needed to do to help a incarnate move in the path it needed to move to seek what it needed to seek. And another soul said, are you ready for me to do this for you? And while the incarnate, the human incarnate, was sleeping, took it into a vibration where they could all have a conversation and say, well, do you want to continue this? And it's soul or higher soul said, no, I want me to take over. Another higher being, asked, do you wish to continue? These are infinite possibilities that Ra is now bringing up now. The other book that I'm reading that I will start reading again next week is called Journey of Souls. It's about a PhD that takes people under hypnosis and travels with the soul back to the heaven, as it gives information to the divine, merges back with the divine, gives the information, and has the ability and the choice to seek to continue doing the human incarnation or not. Sometimes this happens before the person passes away or anything. Sometimes this happens in mid part of life. They have a accident or something, or is in a coma. When they come out the coma, the people that knew this other person well would say, oh, he's a little bit different. Oh, she's a little bit different. Oh, she's not exactly who she was. They could tell something's happened, but they don't know. Right? So, wow. And it's saying that it also happened to George Patton. Before, I believe it happened to Abraham Lincoln, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, Abraham Lincoln. Back to you, Marcus.
Boom, boom.
You must forgive me because I saw it spinning for a minute. I've never seen that before. So if I cut off in the midst of some good and yummy, forgive me.
Interesting. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I don't really have much to say, honestly. It's all really flowing. I don't have an opinion in this moment. So, yeah, I'm just gonna let it marinate. If you want to continue, you can continue.
Okay. I saw my little thing spinning again, so I came out of another tab. Maybe that'll help out for you guys.
Yeah, your
You
quality
don't
is
really
getting
have
a little
anything
blurry.
to say. Yeah. Can
No,
you
not
see
at the
me
moment.
now? Not at the
Yeah, I can
moment.
see you.
Okay. So then the questioner asks, let me take as an example the one that you said was called Himmler. We are assuming from this that his higher self was of the sixth density, and it was stated that Himmler had selected the negative path. Okay, this is what Ra was talking about, that our souls came here to choose, okay, to choose either the path of positive polarity path or a negative polarity path. Positive polarity path was the path to service to others, therefore serving self, which we found out was service to wholeness. And within wholeness, we were included in that. So when we serve others, we are serving ourselves. Doesn't mean, don't get that wrong, doesn't mean you can't serve yourself and others. You're doing both at the same time. The negative polarity is service to self only at all cost of anybody else. You don't care about anybody else. You don't care how they fit into your plan, or how all that you know is whatever you do and whatever they do for you, you get yours first. However they fare after you get yours, that's not on you. We know many people that live lives like this, right? So now the name Himmler doesn't resonate with me, but it doesn't mean it doesn't resonate with you. But the questioner chose this gentleman, right? Okay, so the questioner says, would his higher self then dwell in a sixth density negative type of situation? Can you explain or expand on this concept? Ra says, I am Ra. There are no negative beings which have attained the oversoul manifestation, which is the honor/duty of the mind, body, spirit complex totality of the late sixth density, as you would term it in your time measurement. So when I was listening to this being explained, entities or higher beings that chose the negative polarity path, they could not merge back with the divine. Everything had to be of wholeness, of oneness, the law of one. That also equaled the law of love. So they would, if they chose to stay in the negative polarity, they could do one of two things. They either had to go back and exist on the third density plane, as consciousnesses that serve or take human vessels again. Most of the entities that wanted to be part of the negative polarity didn't like taking human hosts, because they would be seen readily by those hosts or those higher beings that were having an experience of all polarities, but they would be readily noticed. So what they did was they took on the consciousnesses of what we chose as situations, circumstances, and entities. Like if we wanted a devil, well, we've said it before, they would be that, right? Everything has to merge back to wholeness as unconditional love. But they did have the opportunity to choose to stay in that polarity. They just couldn't enter back into, they couldn't merge. Not a negative or a positive. It was just everything had to go back to wholeness. And this was love. Right? So Ra goes on to say, these negatively oriented mind, body, spirit complexes have a difficulty which to our knowledge has never been overcome. For after fifth density graduation, wisdom is available, but must be matched with an equal amount of love. So that means that you could have wisdom and understanding. You could be in your root and be aligned. You could be in your sacral and be aligned. You could be in your solar plexus and be aligned. But if you skipped over your heart chakra and not aligned with it, and were aligned in everything else, you could still have a existence in the cosmos, in the earth experience. But in order to merge back with the divine, you had to be in alignment with your green ray, with love, because the divine is the law of love, the law of oneness, the law of wholeness. And yes, there are a lot of higher beings that are experiencing only as consciousnesses in the 6D and the 5D and the 4D as lower polarity entities, serving self only. And guess what? The divine says, let that be so. That's a choice. Higher beings, they wanted to come do this. They get to do this. But when they're ready to merge back with the one true, with wholeness, they do have to experience, they do have to be in alignment with their green wave, with their heart chakra. They can't just merge back with the divine only with wisdom. Back to you, Marcus.
You know, that is a wonderful segue into something we haven't really touched on in this journey yet, which is going to be pretty fun. So, you know, we talk about moving through the dimensions. You know, we talk about making our way into next incarnations and the soul journey. And what this brings up is a very, very commonly known image. And it goes all the way back to Egypt. And it's been commonly known and seen a lot. And it is this right here. It is the weighing of the heart. And with the weighing of the heart, so if you take a look, this weighing of the heart is a ancient Kemetic or ancient Egyptian way of depicting or articulating what you call the halls of Amenti. The halls of Amenti are basically the halls of where your soul goes after an incarnation and before an incarnation. Now, this etheric hall of Amenti, which is also tied in with the Akashic records from the last episode, we have different guardians, different guides, different intergalactic beings that occupy those realms to help maintain the order and balance through their programming from the Creator. So some of those beings and guides are Anubis, Thoth, Mot, Isis, Horus, and some other figures as well. Archangels are tied in and connected, and some other beings. Now, what you see here is Anubis is the one who operates the scale. And on the scale, what's happening is there is a weighing between a feather and the heart. And that weighing of the feather and heart is to see if your heart is as a clean and pure enough vibration of light to be lighter than a feather. And in order for you to transcend into what you can call the heavenly type of planes or dimensions, your soul energetically needs to be as light as a feather when it comes to the light density of it. So that's where the heart comes in. You know, how clean and how pure are we living through our heart as we go through our earthly life? And this is basically the depiction and showing you the reason why we focus on the heart through our human life and try to keep our hearts pure, is so then when we leave this body, when we leave this human lifetime, our soul can then transcend into a higher dimension. So we do not have to stay in this third dimension of incarnation. Now, there's so many different factors, free will, experiences, being who you are, your DNA, and all these different things that factor into all of this. Keep that in mind as well. It's not one size fits all. But yes, you know, in order for you to be able to transcend into a certain dimension vibrationally, then we got to be able to be of that vibration and frequency in order to be able to even concept and have a embodiment into that dimension of reality. So just like we kind of touched on a little bit in the last episode, what tends to happen is we may walk through our life very unconscious. And as we walk through our life unconscious, we may pick up on a lot of attachments and a lot of karmic energy to this dimension. And as we do that, that karmic energy, those attachments can consciously transfer with us into the hall or into the weighing where we go after we move on from this body. And then what can happen is we get different options, different opportunities on a galactic scale of what we would like to do in order to clear those energies that are causing imbalances within our consciousness as an individual. And then through that, we then start to kind of put together and choose different points throughout our incarnation and timeline that we're going to experience when we go into our next incarnation. And then we drop into that incarnation. We have amnesia and whatever else factors into is going on to that incarnation. And then we start going through this simulated process in the holographic universe And of course, there's a lot more to this and so much more depth and details to how this universe functions and operates. But that's a nice little fun description just to kind of connect with you guys. How we were talking about the green ray and the importance of having a light heart. This is something that correlates and ties in to depicting and articulating that throughout our ancient ancestry. So whenever you study and really reflect on these hieroglyphics or these images from the ancient Egyptians, try to remember that they're symbolic. They're archetypes, they're references to different energies and different parts of ourself as the all. Instead of seeing them just as god or goddesses or these figures, try to remember that they're archetype, they're symbolic, and they have messages and meaning of what they represent. And everything is a mirror, it's a reflection back to us of the different parts of creation and what it is that we're a part of in existence. And back to you.
I love it when we're aligned, Marcus. And guys, I really would love to stay with you a little bit longer, but I do have to get going. I have some family fun to have. But the divine wants me to leave you with this. I'm going to read to you from this book called The Power. And the power is love. It says, points of power. Love is not weak or feeble or soft. Love is the positive force of life. Love is the cause of everything positive and good. Love is everything you want it to be or do or to have. That's where it comes from the infinity of love. Everything you want to be, everything you want to do, and everything you want to become comes from love. The positive force of love can create anything. It can create anything good. It can increase good things. It can increase negative things as well in your life. If you love being a victim, the gift of love will give that to you. And the gift of love is in you. It's not outside. You don't got to seek it outside because it's already within you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You may not believe this, and that is okay. Every day, in every moment, you make the choice whether to love and harness the positive force or not. It's neither good nor bad. You have that choice. The law of attraction is the law of love, and it is the law that is operating your life. Whether you believe it, whether you don't believe it, whether you insist on it or not, intend on it or not, love still vibrates. And remember, if you love to be negative, love will give you exactly what you want. Right? Whatsoever you give out in life is what you will receive back in life. Give positivity, you receive back positivity. Give negativity, and you receive back negativity. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens because of you. You receive everything in your life based on what you are giving. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. You weren't given your heart chakra just because. You were given all your organs because they function for you in one way or another. You were given all your chakras because they function for you. That is your energy center. That is the core of what you're creating with. And it will function according to how you believe it should function for you. It has no gray areas. It will not stop and bargain with you. It is on complete autopilot for you. It never needs to be replenished because it is always there. You don't need to stop at a gas station to fill your energy up. It is seeking itself in, through, and as you. It is infinity seeking itself in, through, and as you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. May the gift of health flow through you. May the gift of love flow through you. May you use it accordingly to how you see fit to use it for you. If you don't want to use it for your highest and greatest good, that is totally okay. Because God is seeking itself as you. It's not going to stop. It's going to keep seeking itself. No matter how many times that higher soul called you reincarnates, it's still going to seek itself. It may be a different body, but it's still going to seek itself. So take what resonates. Back to you, Marcus.
What a great way to cap off the episode. And you know, I've been really just letting go more and more. More and more, just letting go and surrendering. To really trying to define all that is. It's almost so silly for me to continue to try to define all that is. And I realized, like, man, we are causing so many of our own fights with each other. All over all that is. And infinitely will be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, guys, we don't got to fight with each other. We really don't. We really don't have to. I mean, if you want to, you can. But, you know, I really started just surrendering more. And just taking that step back of, you know, what do I have to stress over? What do I have to start a fight over? What do I have to debate people about when it comes to trying to define all that is and is infinite and eternal, which means it's every single thing that ever was, that is, and ever will be. Embrace that. Be it. Love it.
Yes.
Be anything that you are in this present moment.
I'm just It's true.
Yeah, man.
Everything in this universe, the higher polarity and the lower polarity, all that energy, everything that everybody is creating on the political scene, on the spiritual scene, on the religious scene, do you think that it could not be that they could not have created that if it wasn't already the isness? They could not create it if it wasn't already there to be created. And what do we talk about? It's just energy. All I can say is to it. I can't fight the isness. I'm done. I have more than enough energy to do it, but I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to surrender and just let the is be, and then decide who I want to be in the is. Just like Marcus says, I'm done resisting it. The more I resist it, the more the shit persists. I just want to be. I have energy, but I don't have energy that I want to fight you with. You've heard people say, I just don't have the energy for that. No, I have the energy, but I just don't want to use it to fight you. You go be you and I'll be me, and we'll be okay. Because I was given feelings and I was given emotions, and I get to decide if I want to vibrate with you on that part of the playground. Yes, pure unconditional love. What a beautiful way to love. unconditionally. You could just love somebody and still not like the shit that they're doing, but you can love them. You can love them because they have the expression to do that. They were given that same expression just like you were given it, and they get to make a choice. It doesn't have to be. You ever see Bugs Bunny and Porky Pig? They have a difference of opinion, but in the cartoon, they always end up kind of walking away, kind of talking to each other. Through the whole cartoon, they're trying to resist each other, trying to do one-ups on each other. But at the end of the cartoon, that's all, folks, and they kind of walk away, in a couple of them. That's what I want to be. Go be you, be the isness, and then let somebody else be the isness, because there's more than enough isness. Infinite isness. Lordy, Lord, as my grandmother would say, Lordy be. That part, Sandee. I love you unconditionally. Yeah. It's just, you got to be you. And then let somebody else be them. And then you're going to find the right person that's going to be the part that is you, that you can enjoy having fun with as you grow and expand. And then somebody else is growing and expanding. Before you know it, they come back a year later and they're saying the same thing that you said last year, and you moved on to something else. Right? Growth and expansion, baby. Shifting and evolving. That's what we're here to do. We're not all going to be on the same page, but I do have to go. So I'm going to leave you with unconditional love. I'm going to leave you with growth and expansion. I'm going to leave you knowing that we do not have to die to get to fifth density, sixth density, seventh density. That is only a conscious lens that we get to look through as we are shifting and expanding. If you're there already, let it go. Just sit back. Don't resist it. Look through it and see what you see in that third density lens, in that third density area, that playground, through your fourth density or your fifth density, your sixth, or honey, you could be at 144th. Look through it and let it mesmerize you. Let it take you on a thrill ride. Get in that roller coaster and look at it, and then just let it take you for a ride. Thank you. As always, we will see you on Wednesday at 10 p.m. or not 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for more of some, going beyond your limitations, baby. It's a free flow, right? You're free flowing. It's free. Right. You get to come here. It's free. You get to watch the clips. It's free. You get to sit down and take what resonates and leave what doesn't, and nobody is poking at you to make you believe something that you don't want to believe.
That's right.
Join us on Wednesday. We got more. The Divine's got more. Raw's got more.
Thank you guys all for tapping in. I'll be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern for Crown Chakra and Rising with Ra. I will see you guys then. Wholeness and balanced love. See you guys next time.
One love. Peace.